So much for your time. I am Pius Kojobaka, and looking at our stories. Government is gearing up to roll out its much-touted 24-hour economy policy as President Mahama confirms he has reviewed the final draft and says the framework is ready to deliver results. He's also been announcing plans to activate the Volta Lake as a major transport highway and how the policy will be decentralized to the district level.
Business leaders, CEOs, policymakers, and members of civil society organizations gathered here at the presidency, where President Mahama briefed them comprehensively on his 24-hour economy policy. He says plans are far advanced for the policy to be rolled out.
The 24-hour economy program is not a top-down model. It is decentralized. Each district will establish its own 24-hour implementation task force, housed within the district and municipal assemblies, and aligned with our local economic development policy. This decentralized approach will allow each region to define and lead its path of industrial transformation based on its natural comparative advantages. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer just a vision. It is a structured, sequenced, and inclusive plan, and its implementation is beginning. I've authorized the 24-hour Secretariat to begin detailed program design and investment packaging. The draft program document will be released publicly on Tuesday for broader consultation, and I will invite you to help us finalize it. We'll officially launch the 24-hour Plus program in July this year, most probably on Ghana's Republic Day, which is a symbolic day for a bold new national agenda. To guarantee institutional stability, I'm working with Parliament to establish the 24-hour Economy Secretariat as an independent authority, reporting directly to the President and backed by legislation. This will ensure strong coordination, investor confidence, and delivery continuity.
President Mahama has been talking about a key component of the 24-hour economy policy, which he says will be the activation of the Volta Lake as a highway corridor.
Maxwell Agbagba with that report. Now, Presidential Advisor on the Economy, Seth Tekpe, has emphasized that government plans to go back to the international capital market to raise funds for development after the completion of the current IMF program. Speaking at the Graphic EcoBank Economic Forum in Accra, Seth Tekpe said government has designed a clear debt repayment mechanism to ensure prudent and sustainable debt management. Here's a report.
Markets move by sizes. If we want to be in the upper middle income country, or even now lower income, middle income country, we should do better than comparing ourselves with the low income countries, because the consequence is that we are losing concessional financing and grants. And that is what is taking us to the debt market. And to link it to your question, you can't go to the debt market, whether domestic or external, and then like you were doing with T-bills, because you had a lot of concessional financing, instead of paying down your debt, if you borrow, lend to pay, but instead of, you paid only interest only, the TB is interest only. Our sovereign bond was interest only. Our domestic bonds were interest only. And then you are rolling over the principal. And this awareness came in 2014, when with 3 years to go, we would have had to cost $750 million US to pay the first sovereign bond, whilst we were adding other sovereign bonds. This is the rationale for going back to the Constitution and establishing a sinking fund, a debt repayment mechanism. We stopped, and the consequence, default, haircuts.
Tax partner at PwC Ghana, Abeku Jan Kwanzaa, emphasized the importance of effective implementation tax exemption policy.
You say you cannot carry out a particular stuff, so you need the states to have their skin in the game. Then the state is also saying that if your business is valued X, give me a portion of the X. And whenever you think you do not need me any longer, come and then buy back that. I am hoping that those who stood in the sun to vote for on the 7th of December, when certain exemptions come to them, they would ensure that this provision of law is passed. And why it matters a lot to me is that, look, we keep hearing how much people get to pay to get bills passed and all those stuff. If the laws are passed and we do not ensure the laws work, it's actually at a loss to you and I. So if you see the next exemption going to Parliament, let's all be very interested to find out why the state on this particular account is departing and not taking an interest.
Also speaking at the event, Mr. Osei JC from the Governor's Office at the Bank of Ghana stressed the urgent need for economic diversification to strengthen Ghana's resilience against external shocks.
It is important to recognize that macroeconomic stability is a necessary condition, but not sufficient, to fully reset Ghana's economy. Stability strengthens the economic fundamentals, but structural transformation provides the direction for sustainable and inclusive growth. This implies that to fully reset Ghana's economy, we must broaden the growth model beyond the extractive sector. Undoubtedly, gold and cocoa are key drivers in the recovery process, but are limited in scope. We need to build on the extractive sector with value addition and diversification. What would we achieve by that? Long-term prosperity and employment generation.
It made an edition of the daily graphic EcoBank Economic Forum provided a platform for seasoned experts to share actionable recommendations aimed at fostering sustainable economic growth.
More on the economy, former Trade Minister Dr. Spio Gabra says the 30% gain by the Cedi against the dollar and over 20% against the pound and euro is not fluke. He described the appreciation as a result of deliberate government efforts.
First time in a long time, at least in my generation, I'm 70 plus years old, that prices are coming down. I mean, fuel prices are coming down, spare parts prices are coming down, and even traders are appealing to themselves and each other. And there are videos online that we are all reading about traders, knocking their buckets and clanging their horns, saying, time to reduce prices, reduce prices, reduce prices. Teso, teso, teso. Yeah. I mean, teso is now become a national slogan, for price reductions. Right. And most people have not seen price reductions in a long time for any kind of goods and services. So that's a great time for any economy. And at the rate at which the Cedi dollar exchange rate is progressing, 10 cedis to a dollar. I mean, that's something that nobody has ever thought or even could have predicted in January this year. Major achievement.
I see. And speaking about the Cedi, in the last 690 plus days, as the experts are calling it, the Cedi has not performed this way.
Correct. 12th best performing currency.
Right. Currently. Do you feel that this is artificial, or it's something we can sustain?
If it was artificial, why didn't that occur last year under the MPP? If it's so artificial, any magician should just pull that ratio out of the hat and then have 5 Cedi to a dollar exchange rate. But it takes intelligence, it takes capacity, it takes experience to know how to juggle or massage the economic activity so that, first of all, I believe that a lot of the performance of the economy has come from slowed down spending. Yeah. So the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Finance Minister, has not been overspending and overborrowing as was being done by another previous regime. So that alone, not having 60 ministers to use up all kinds of fuel, to use up houseboys and housegirls and personal assistants and all that, either in the Flagstaff House or in the various ministries, immediately cuts down public expenditure.
Now, on to one of our lead stories. Nearly 1 in 6 Ghanaians, representing 18.4%, who dealt with public officials and institutions in 2024, gave a gift, mostly cash, as a bribe to access services. That's according to the latest report from the Ghana Statistical Service on Governance. The report further indicated that 70% of Ghanaians believe that the current system offers little or no space for them to influence decision-making and governance. Here's more.
The Governance Series Wave 1 report by the Ghana Statistical Service indicate that bribery was more prevalent among men, who accounted for 68.3% of those who admitted to giving gifts or money to public officials, compared to 31.7% among women. Head of Social Statistics at the Ghana Statistical Service, Umar Seidu, emphasized the urgent need for structural reforms and stronger anti-corruption measures to rebuild public trust in state institutions.
So in the first wave, which is conducted in January 2025, for the reference period, January to December 2024, we realized that 56% of the population have come into contact with a public organization, not once, many times. And out of this, 18.4% have indicated that they have had to pay bribes to facilitate the process or to get whatever they wanted to do done. And money is the mainstay in payment of bribe. 85% indicated that the source, what was given is money. But we have a significant number also giving, saying that they give other services besides money as bribes. And we try to look at the institutions that top in terms of institutions coming into contact with them. Health institutions, educational institutions are the highest. But in terms of bribe taking, we see that the police, the various departments under the police are highest in terms of those that have come into contact and have had to pay bribes.
Urban residents were also more likely to pay bribes, representing 64.3% of reported cases, as opposed to 35.7% among rural dwellers. At a regional level, Greater Accra recorded the highest incidence of bribery at 22%, closely followed by the Ashanti region with 18.1%. James Eshen's report for Joy Business.
The inefficient mixing of feed ingredients by poultry farmers, coupled with high feed costs, is plaguing the poultry industry as farmers are unable to achieve optimal returns in production of meat and eggs. Farmers have been urged to prioritize measured feed concentration to reduce waste and increase production to safeguard their investments. Experts are recommending cost-effective, locally sourced, ready-to-use feed solutions to boost profitability and efficiency. Clinton Yeboah has more.
The average industry egg production is 230 to 250 eggs per layer per year. However, production and quality levels of chicken and eggs are impeded with inadequate measures of necessary ingredients to feed to poultry. Area Sales Manager of Intraco Limited, Stephen Van, is urging farmers to use pre-mixed commercial feeds, analyzing weather patterns and use strategies like toxin binders to enhance egg quality and laying performance.
You have a lot of losses during the whole sector, not only on farm level, also the wholesalers, also the market ladies. Yeah? And it's a waste. It's a shame that so many food resources are going to waste. If we can, with some small measurements, we can tackle it already on farm level. It would be a waste for a farmer to do all that research and hunt for all those individual ingredients, and then because he doesn't have adequate mixing facilities, that he would lose out on performance. So sometimes it's better to buy already a small package from us.
The discussion of proper feeds for poultry was the attention of a seminar in Kumasi for poultry farmers and dealers on the proper use of farm feeds, including layer concentrates to improve and increase laying performance. Lecturer at the Department of Animal Science at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Goodman Safokantanka, is admonishing farmers to consult nutritionists regularly and observe biosecurity practices in their farms to protect returns and consumers.
If you are a meat producer, that's talking about a broiler farmer, once I come to buy your products or your meat, which have been fed with this so much antibiotics, I begin to build some resistance to what you have fed to the animals. We make it so unwholesome for consumption. So farmers need to understand this basic principle of biosecurity. Let's prevent it. Let it not come at all. It's a business we are doing. Let's see it as a business and put in all our effort. Let's hire the technical men to assist us where the need arises, and let's consult as much as possible to get the best of our investments here.
The seminar, organized by Sky Agro and Aquaculture Solutions Limited and Intraco Limited, aims to educate and engage farmers on proper application of feed products to improve eggshell quality and homogeneity in feed. Founder and CEO of Sky Agro and Aquaculture Solutions Limited, Alfred Kwame Agbetitis, is convinced the training will improve farmers' farm performances.
On some of the feedback we've gotten from the farmers is that, yes, even though they do the right thing, they are not able to get the results. And we notice that it's all as a result of wrong applications of what? the raw materials, i.e. The concentrates. That is the reason why we are here, more or less, to have that interaction to more or less educate them the way forward.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yabo.
And that's it for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojobaka. We have more stories for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks so much for watching.